Namaste, myself Reni Kurana, Assistant Professor, Faculty Physiotherapy and Diagnostics, JVN Rajasthan. Today we are going to discuss about electrodiagnosis. Electrodiagnostic testing is the core diagnostic modality for patients with a suspected myopathy. It consists of nerve conduction studies and electromyography. Electrodiagnostic studies are considered an extension of physical examination and are most useful in the workup of a patient with a suspected myopathy. Less commonly used electrodiagnostic testing includes somatosensory evoked potential, single fiber EMG, and repetitive stimulation. Electrodiagnostic testing used to evaluate conditions such as peripheral neuropathy, entrapment neuropathy including carpal tunnel syndrome, ulnar neuropathy at elbow, peroneal neuropathy at fibular head, and tarsal tunnel syndrome. Other than these, it is also used to evaluate plexopathy, radiculopathy, spinal stenosis, neuromuscular junction disorders, example myasthenia gravis, Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and myopathies disorders of anterior horn cell. Now, what is electromyography or surface electromyography? It includes evaluation and recording of muscle activity. The instrument for electromyography is the electromyograph. The electromyograph detects electrical potential generated by a muscle and produces a record of the muscle activity called electromyogram. EMG is used for identifying neuromuscular diseases and disorders of motor control. EMG is usually performed with nerve conduction study. The electrical activity of a muscle can be measured using a surface electrode for a larger region of muscle and a needle EMG for a lesser region. The surface EMG, while it gives a good indication of which muscle groups are active in, for example, tremor or dystonia, gives little information as to the fine structure of those muscles. It entails placing the electrodes on the skin overlying a muscle to determine the electrical activity of the muscle. Needle EMG, it entails inserting a needle electrode into a muscle, recording and amplifying the electrical signals generated from resting or contracting muscle fibers, and interpreting the signals to determine the function of the muscle fibers and motor units. Now, what is needle electromyography? Under this, muscles are usually tested at rest and minimal muscle contraction. It is imperative that the patient is told what to expect before the test. The test should be discontinued if the patient becomes uncomfortable or requests that it should be stopped. Limitations of this are adipose tissue can affect the recording of a surface EMG. Surface EMG can measure only on superficial muscles. Needle EMG involves voluntary activation of muscles, so can be less effective in unresponsive or uncooperative patients, paralyzed patients, and in children and for adults, infants. Now, what is nerve conduction study? Nerve conduction study, also known as nerve conduction velocity test, and is used to measure the speed of electrical activity of a nerve. Nerve conduction studies can test sensory or motor nerve fibers and can determine both the speed of conduction as well as the amplitude of the electrical signal evoked following stimulation of a nerve. The sensory nerve action potential provides information on the sensory nerve axon and its pathway from the distal receptor in the skin to the dorsal root ganglia, while the compound muscle action potential is an assessment of the motor nerve fibers from their origins in the anterior horn cells to their termination along muscle fiber. Now, the motor conduction studies. To determine the motor conduction velocity of a motor nerve, the nerve is stimulated and the response of its target muscle recorded. An active electrode is placed over the muscle body. A reference electrode is placed distally. The ground electrode is usually placed between the active electrode and the stimulator. The nerve is stimulated near the active electrode and then at a more proximal site. The compound muscle action potential generated by the muscle is recorded following the stimulation of motor nerve. Terminal latency, it is the amount of time or delay before the muscle starts depolarizing. This value includes both the amount of time that it takes the nerve to conduct from the point of stimulation to the motor and great area and the amount of time for the neuromuscular junction transmission to active the muscle. This activation of muscle once has been recorded, the motor conduction velocity can be determined by stimulation of another, more proximal site along the motor nerve. The computation of motor nerve conduction velocity requires knowing the distance between the two stimulation sites, and the difference in the terminal latency is recorded from the more distal and more proximal sites. Dividing the distance by the time gives the nerve conduction velocity over the segment in between the stimuli. Motor studies are orthodromic, that is measured from proximal to distal. Now, what is sensory conduction studies? To determine sensory conduction velocity of nerve, the nerve is electrically stimulated and the response of the nerve picked up at a different location. Sensory studies may be orthodromic or antidromic. Orthodromic stimulation occurs if the sensory nerve is stimulated proximally and recorded distally. Antidromic stimulation occurs if the sensory nerve is stimulated distally and recorded proximally. Somatosensory evoked potential. Somatosensory evoked potentials assesses the function of somatosensory pathways by stimulation of sensory nerves. These may be recorded by stimulation of mixed or pure sensory nerves in the upper and lower extremities, in dermatomal areas of the skin, and from some cranial nerves with sensory function. Now, what is single fiber electromyography? Single fiber electromyography is a highly selective diagnostic test that involves assessment of individual muscle fiber action potential. It is the most sensitive electrophysiological test for myasthenia gravis and other neuromuscular junction pathologies. It is also useful in the assessment of motor unit morphology in some neuromuscular diseases. Now, what is repetitive nerve stimulation? Repetitive nerve stimulation involves the repeated transcutaneous electrical stimulation of all the motor fibers within a peripheral nerve, which generates successive impulses. Repetitive nerve stimulation is used to diagnose myasthenia gravis and other disorders of the neuromuscular junction. Now, moving towards assessment of traumatic brain injury. It is mostly measured by electromyography. What is the advantages, limitations? It is a non-invasive and operator does not need training to place electrodes. Highly tolerated, wireless, possibility to use a protocol for electrode placement, various designs, allow prolonged recordings from multiple sites, most frequently reported in the literature, and is low cost. Records superficial signals, records of a group of motor units, movement of electrodes in relation to the bony circumferences, inadequate for overweight patient, crosstalk, noise, artifacts. Intramuscular myography allow recording deep muscles and single motor unit. Single is stable, signal stable and higher amplitude frequencies recording, less sensitive than SEMGs to noise, invasive and damages muscle fibers. Risk of infection can modify patient's movement because of discomfort, requires operating training, wire can break. Before undertaking surface EMGs, clinicians need to place electrodes on the patient's skin surface. For this purpose, palpation combined with the testing include active muscle contraction is helpful to identify as precisely as possible the location of muscles bodies. In order to favor reproducibility of measurement, surface EMGs recommended for a non-invasive assessment of muscles. The size of electrode should not exceed 10 mm. Inter-electrode distance, bipolar EMGs electrode should respect an inter-electrode distance of 20 mm. For small muscles, the inter-electrode distance should not exceed 1/4 of the muscle fiber length. Electrode material is in contact with the skin should provide good contact, low impedance and stable behavior in time. Vertical sensor constructions recommends fixed electrode distances using light materials. Cable motions should be limited with tape, example, in order to reduce mechanical artifacts. Sensor placement procedure contains 6 steps for which recommendations are: first, selection of EMG sensor, adapted electrodes including shape, type and size depending on the muscles studied. Second, skin preparation, shave the area, clean the skin with alcohol and keep the electrode contact area dry. Third, positioning the patient for manual muscle testing. Fourth, determining sensor location. Sensors should be placed in a stable location. The ideal location is defined in relation to the longitudinal transversal location of the sensor on the muscle. For the longitudinal location, halfway between distal motor and plate zone and distal tendon for longitudinal. For the transversal location, away from the edge of the muscle belly division and as close as possible as the middle of the muscle belly. Sensor placement and fixation. Electrode orientation should be placed parallel to the muscle fiber. Electrodes should be stabilized using tape or elastic band in order to limit mechanical artifacts. Sixth, testing of connection. Subject produces a voluntary contraction and clinicians can observe in real time that the signal is recorded. Despite being the most commonly used technique, EMG presents certain limitations. The technique is based on the measurement of the voltage difference between two electrodes and the use of a grounding electrode, which is on somewhere else on the body. The electrical signal that reaches the electrode on the skin surface is usually small because it has been attenuated by the layers of fascia, fat and skin underlying. Therefore, the signal is amplified 1000 to 10,000 times close to the electrodes and picked up electrodes as the sum of the muscle action potentials from many motor units within the most superficial muscles. EMG signal is influenced by intrinsic and extrinsic variables which can affect the data recorded and therefore the reliability and interpretation. Variable cause possible way to limit variable intrinsic tissue characteristics including type of muscle, motor unit size, presence of fat and skin temperature. selecting a group rather than a particular muscle. Contaminate EMG signal with fake activity, internal noise, contaminate EMG signals, locating amplifiers very close to the recording electrodes, therefore reducing the length of wire. Skin, its preparation, thickness or sweat. Impedance of the signal and signal amplitude, extrinsic changes in muscle geometry between muscle belly and electrode site modifies EMG reading external noise, that is amplifiers. Thank you.